Hello, good afternoon. It's a chess show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and my guest today is Professor Ken Regan. Welcome to the show, Ken.
Thank you very much for having me on. I'm in New Jersey. Greetings from my mother as well.
And you're traveling back today later on.
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you, Ken, about the latest chess news and upcoming weekend's tournament. What I've heard is that neither Carlsen or Nepa are invited this year to weekend's. Is it something what you heard already?
That is right. Yes, nor was Hikaru Nakamura in there. The slate for this year's tournament is headed by the new world champion Domoraju Gukesh.
Good.
And from North America, the highest person to challenge him will be Fabiano.
Yeah. Well, he's probably the highest U.S. Chess player for quite considerable time now. I think he's showing very steady results, very high quality games for at least what I saw. So he's definitely will be competing probably for the first prize.
That's right. Also in the tournament, representing China, not Ding Liren, but rather Wei Yi, who played on the top board for the Olympiad. Yeah. He faced Gukesh in a game in the Budapest Olympiad, and that game was voted by Chess.com voters the 2024 Chess Game of the Year.
Wow, that's absolutely very high regard for a chess game. And so who is your favorite in Weekends this year? Probably Fabiano or Gukesh maybe?
Well, I am going to go with Fabiano. There's a little bit of a home rooting interest there. Actually, I should probably preface this by saying that I am not supposed to have a rooting interest in the tournament because I'm officially screening it. So I maintain my my studied neutrality. However, the other thing that's notable about the lineup of the tournament is that there are four representatives from India, and I think I see a fifth. That's Luke Leon Mendonca, who has a Indian flag next to his name, and I did not know that. Wait a second.
I never thought about him, no.
Let me just take a look here. Mendonca Leon Luke. Clicking here. He is, yes, Federation India. I did not know that. So
the name sounds more Chinese to me than Indian.
Well, no, it sounded Argentinian.
Argentinian. Wow. So what?
Mendonca, yeah.
So he changed federation lately?
No, let's see. Let me see what his Wikipedia page says. He is in the world's top 100. But for India to have 5 representatives at Vaikonse, and apparently the entire Western Hemisphere only 1 is
even in a time when Soviet players played in Vaikonse, there were never 5 people from Soviet Union who would participate in Vaikonse. I think 3, maximum 4, but never 5.
Yeah, no, he's Indian through and through. Wow, I did not know that. So we have Pentala Harikrishna facing Arjun Erigaisi in round 1, and R. Pragnananda, or Ramesh Babu Pragnananda, playing Norbek Abdusattorov tomorrow. Then Leon Luke Mendonca against Vincent Keimer of Germany, and Domoraju Gukesh against Anish Giri, which will also be in a really interesting game.
Yeah.
Indeed, Giri drew attention to that pairing on Twitter.
So it's fair to say that most likely one of the India representatives will clinch this tournament.
Yes.
By numbers only.
Right. And perhaps it will be Erigaisi because, it's been said that somehow he's flown under the radar and the prestigious invites like Vacanze have passed him by, but here he is. So I'm sure there is betting for one of the five, any four of the five Indian representatives would be highly
Caruana
as favorites.
That's probably the least of most formidable candidates to win this tournament.
Yeah,
4+1.
And then what will Anish Giri produce? He won the tournament 2 or 3 years ago. One of those. So
is Anish Giri's only one representative of Western Hemisphere?
Well, I'm counting Western Hemisphere as just the Americas.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, so,
I thought that Giri, for some reason, he claims to be some relationship to India and to Russia too, because he was raised in Russia. He speaks Russian very fluently, and of course now he's in Holland. He's a resident of Holland, and but Giri is also one who can, I think, he could fight for one of the first places. Depends on his form, of course.
Right. That is, of course, right. Yes. So it's all this. I think this is a very close run tournament, and. Nodirbek Abdusadarov was in the candidates. Vincent Keimer, young players might come up soon. There's Max Varmerdam and Alexei Sarana, who is not Russian. Is from Croatia or let's see what that's the flag of Croatia or Serbia. Let me take a look.
Yeah.
So let's see. So he is. No, it says Russian Grandmaster, but he's got the flag of Serbia next to him. So
a lot of Russian Grandmasters relocated to even Fedoseev, for example, and Sarana. Yeah, it makes it easier for them to travel, to be invited to tournaments, I guess. So it's kind of practical decision.
And then there's Vladimir Fedoseev and Jordan van Forest. They round out the field.
Very interesting. Well, it's probably the last traditional round robin tournaments left in the world,
and especially a 14-rounder. Yes, so Vladimir Fedoseev is now representing Slovenia.
That's right. Yeah.
So now, there is also the challenger section, which is always interesting to look at. And that actually does not have an American representative. It does have Divya Deshmukh from India and Ramesh Babu Vaishali. So Vaishali, that's Pragnananda's sister, also part of the first brother-sister grandmaster pair. And she actually made news as she came out agreeing with Judith Polgar not to have separate women's grandmaster and IM titles. So that was one of the piece of chess news this past week. So it's so actually the women playing in the challengers are Divya Deshmukh, then Irina Bulmaga, who plays in a lot of open tournaments as well, and Vaishali and Miao Yi Liu. Let me just check. Miao Yi Liu, I believe, is also female. Indeed. Yep. So she is a international master and women grandmaster, rated 24, 25, 29. But I have not advanced my project of showing that the world's women are largely underrated. So that will also be interesting. The other headliner for being a young prodigy in the tournament is Faustino Oro. So also representing the Western Hemisphere, Faustino Oro of Argentina.
Very interesting.
Young kid. And then there's Kazibek Nogurbek. That's a player I'm not familiar with. And Krausebeck, Noterbeck was 20 years old. Okay. So
chess by age is probably the youngest we can say tournament in the last several years.
it's quite possible. Are any old garters in the in either tournament? I mean, is Fabiano the oldest? Let's see.
He's veteran.
Yeah, there's Tai-Dai Van Nien and Arthur Pipers, who I'm also not familiar with, but he looks like a young kid in the little photo. Noterbek Yakuboev, I know. Aidan Soleimani, Benjamin Bach, also young. Eddie Sgurl of Turkey. I should actually bracket him with Faustino Oro. He's a little older. But he's also someone whose meteoric rise I chronicled and screened. I mean, I was always calculating a truer estimate of his rating than his actual FIDE rating for use in tournaments. It was always important. Actually, representing the old guard is Ervin Lamy. So there we go. Now we're starting. Then we're starting to get into people closer to my age.
He was youngster just a few years ago, and he was very promising.
Erwin Lamy. Okay, let me see.
Now he's a veteran, same as Caruana.
Yeah, let's see. Erwin Lamy. Born 1985. Oh my gosh, he's not even 40 yet. Wow. Okay, he's only 39. You're right. Okay, so yeah, you're
right. He's older than Caruana for sure.
Yes, he is older than Caruana. So, okay. So there we go. I think I have mentioned everyone. Frederick Svein of Germany is playing, and then I think I've mentioned everyone.
Yeah. You have some couple games to show.
Yes, I do. So I can show. I mean, this will be a review, sort of year in review, but may as well talk about again the greatness of Gukesh. So let me share my screen. I'll share my whole screen, okay. So so I'm looking at the Chess.com awards for Move of the Year. But so this is going back to the candidates tournament, pivotal game in round 8. So at that point, Gukesh had only 4 out of 7. So he was, in the thick of things, but not yet taking command of the tournament. Wouldn't necessarily guess that he was have a very strong +4 in the tournament. So he is black, and we're going to play the Gyoko Tabiyas, in which early moves like A6 are perfectly fine because the pace goes very slow. And the same thing goes with the move H6. I have to say that when I was a young kid, I would not have expected my beginner's instruction books to advocate playing this way, with pawns at A6 and H6. It does, however, keep White's bishop out of G5 and enable future expansion. And by playing D3, White forewent a quick advance in the center. So Black can afford the time for this. Okay, and in fact, White plays similarly to prevent Black from gaining space with a B5, and now Black is able to develop normally, and Black is actually not behind in development in this position. I mean, he could castle and White could play knight C3, and then we'd have that. Of course, Black has to do something about his bishop, so he defends it. Now we castle, and okay, because it is White's move and Black has not yet moved the bishop on C8, you could say that White has an extra tempo for development in this position. But the knight on D2 is not yet on a good square. So anyway, White plays C3, trying to build up in the center. Black exercises some restraint against E4. So White expands on the queen side again, and we have resolved the position so that White has a good center. And also White's bishop on C4 is working very well. The knights, not clear what the knights are doing yet, but White can try to get a knight to F5. Black, however, starts to neutralize the bishop on C4, and then Vida decides to gain some space on the queen side. And now just begin a very slow build up. So I would wonder, I would have probably played queen b3 in a heartbeat right here. But the chess program, so Stockfish 17, says that black is already slightly better. So let's see. So what is the defect of queen b3 in this position? Just allows black to take and play knight b7 then, and the knight is coming c5, hitting white's queen. So that might be
yeah, that's a drawback.
Yeah, the engine. I mean, the engine thinks that this is the equal / slight edge for black.
See, there is a problem. White has a beautiful center, but it's kind of a defensive posture, because as soon as you advance d4, for example, then your pawn on e4 is becoming a weakness.
Right.
So, and then if you play c4, it's a meaningless advance. It's just knight d7 to c5, for example. It's kind of inflexible position. I would rather be happier to have black pieces in this position than white.
What I would want to do is try to get a knight to f5, but the tactics with knight h4, knight takes e4 might not be working for white here.
So maybe you have to start with queen e1 to prepare knight h4.
Right.
That would have been a better idea.
Yes. Let's just see, since this is a crossroads position. And queen e1 is not one of the computer's first. So let's see. So it just says black is going to play knight bd7 and then sort of austerity. So actually, so what's happening here? So this is the flaw in what you just said, is that black latently is going to take on b5 and take on a1 and deflect the queen. So the queen's guarding of h4 is actually not operative in this position.
Yeah, so queen c2 was played, right?
Yeah, queen c2. So now, so white decides queen c2 was preparing d4. So white decided to take the bull by the horns and try to resolve things in the center. Now this rook to e1, abandoning play on the queen side, is in a veiled way guarding e4. If black captures on d4, white will capture with e pawn, and then the rook is guarding e4. So we abandon play on the queen side, so black will play there. And now let's see, starting to probe. Now black is going to come through the queen side. And this is
Hold on.
This is a classic game where play on the queen side presages play on the king side. So now black actually brings back the rook. And we'll see. So now white a little too casual in this position, and not really necessarily seeing what black's plan is or putting out a counter plan.
So maybe now he could try knight h4 with idea f5.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, knight h4. Now is that going to be as relevant? Well, actually, the thing is, black is going to start coming in here. So, and maybe the knight was needed for defense of d2. In fact, I think you're going to lose something on
yeah, looks like it.
Might. Yeah. So it might lose something in the center that way. Yeah. So this is very tricky. Yeah, the computer wants you to either play c5 with a counterattack or play knight b1, I guess relocating this knight, which I don't know. Knight b1 doesn't look right to me.
Maybe it works queen b2 with the idea to exchange rooks on a1.
Queen b2. Well, black is still going to play rook a2, though. Oops. Oh, mouse slipped there.
Yeah, that's not a solution. That's not a solution.
Yeah, so it's a little. So apparently the computer says white should try a vigorous counterattack with c5, even sacrificial. But white played slow, and black decided to just stop c5. That's what that move does. And now start playing. Okay, so that move is not striking while the iron is hot, according to the computer. Queen a3 would have been better, but I don't know. It looks perfectly fine to me. Queen a4. Now black is filtering into white's position. So here comes knight h4. Let's see if black can punish it. Now black has taken over the a file completely. And white's knight is going to meet a very unfortunate end on f5 in 10 more moves. Okay, so black played king f8, a really nifty move to keep white from wheeling the knight to d5, where on d5 it would have some offensive and defensive capabilities. Yeah. Okay, rook b1. So the question is, should black be worried about the force on the f file? But the answer is no, because f6 is really well protected at this moment. So black starts pushing white around. Now black has full control of the a file and other squares to invade on. And now white tries the counterattack with c5. How desperate really is this for white? The computer does say white is the equivalent of a pawn and a half down. So in a position like this, with only 12 minutes left on your clock, and important to note, the candidates did not have increment before turn 40. So this is real time pressure on the horizon, just a minute to move. Vidit decided he needed to lash out. He's definitely aware that he's inferior in this position. The computer does want white to play g4, but you could very easily see g4 being annotated as folly, making more weaknesses in a position where you're under attack. Anyway, c5. So knight c4, white's idea. I imagine there are all sorts of interesting traps. So black can't play queen takes b5. Queen takes b5, white just comes through, taking on e5. And then is able to play rook b2.
All right, tell us. I think we can bring up the video and everything. I saw that there were some issues with the your computer and everything, but I think that I've been able to figure out a way to get that up and everything as well. So hold on 1 second, we can make that happen.
Okay. Well, black is making it happen in this position now with an attack on white's king. So now the computer is able to see that black can bring this attack to fruition.
You want to just go ahead and describe while I get ready to pull it up, but I did see the video.
And so white sacrifices the knight, and black starts tightening the noose. White's knight comes back. And here we go, g4, which might be giving air, might be doing something, except that Gukesh has calculated that taking over the b3 square is key. So rook takes f5. Okay, move of the year to
g5, checkmate.
Yes. So here you go, and knight h7, and this was
oh my god,
the queen takes h3 mate. It's the end. Yep. So so that was brilliant positional command by Gukesh. Shows that black can win these Joko positions.
So the moves in the opening a6 and h6 were not so innocent as we may think.
No,
actually they were quite useful. And especially the latest developments in Giocopiano suggest that black can actually start, in some cases, ferocious king-size attack with the g5 moves and so on. And in fact, they sometimes waiting until white castles and black is not castling king-side, waiting for opportunity to start king-size attack. And we've seen some of these games in our program, by the way.
Yeah, those games certainly go with the theme that black is okay.
Yeah, exactly.
This is still considered white's best chance to develop an initiative or play a challenging game against against e5 by black.
So another thing is that I never seen on the top level move knight g5 in two knights defense, or which will become Italian game and Giocopiano in some variations. So after black plays on third move knight f6, it used to be almost mandatory move knight g5, threatening f7, which black would reply d5 and so on and on and on. But it's not being played lately.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish I were more in play, more following the means of games. So, so, um, but we'll present one more game.
Okay.
So, in honor of Miao Yi Lu, who is playing at Vaikonsei. Okay, so one of the games of the year played in the Olympiad. So the women's chess Olympiad. So I'm showing this screen, and let's see if I can get this to be bigger. Let's see.
Okay.
Yep. So it's that's the good thing about sharing the screen is that I have it bigger now. Okay. So Yu Mao Yi is black.
Mm-hmm.
Another case where black is going to come out on top, or h6. And in fact, Liu Mao-Yi was happy to allow white to play b4 and expand a little. That eventually created weaknesses that he exploited. Here, black restrains the b4 move. Okay. And now white plays the pawn, and Liu Mao-Yi is really not afraid of white's bishop coming to b5. So bishop a7 by black, just preventing it from being hit by d4. And now be interested to see how often does white play bishop g5, because that would be my automatic move in this position. But maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's the fact that white has castled already means that h6 and g5 is perfectly playable for black. So anyway, so white plays bishop b3. Whoops, I did not mean to start and still keep latent force able to expand to the center. So a key dynamic of this position is that even though black is ahead of development, black does not have an obvious pawn advance plan yet in this position. So white, however, has the very obvious strategy of playing d4. It just needs to be prepared by finding a good square for white's knight on d2. So to f1 and then to either e3 or g3, or just leave it on f1 for a while if you have enough support on e4. So the annotator here says that d5 is premature, although it leads to equality. And you can also play knight e7, but it's not sure what plan that's advancing. So the annotator raises rook a8 as again a latent restraining move in the center in case white is going to bring any action. So knight f1, so d5, and now so this is still maybe in Liu Mao-Yi's prep. Okay, so this now is since white withdrew the knight, the d4 break has a little more point c3 develop. And one latent theme in this position is that rook d8 will put to white's queen the question of where are you going to go. And it's not even clear that e2 is a completely comfortable square for white.
I can actually see the video. That's what I was trying to tell you in the chat.
So white decided to mix it up by
I don't know if it did play on your
playing,
computer, but it did play on the screen and on the TV.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So what taking white did not mean to do that. And okay, but the computer says no, black is still fine. We're up a pawn. Well, this, however, though, maybe rook c6. And now let's see. So now black is going to be coming under pressure. Okay, so square on the board, and now relief that white lives for in the joke about so line for white to come the and this the at the cost of a mirror exchange and why is coming through into black's position. So moves, and now white plays the prettiest way to end up this game. Okay. So the rook is defended because white could play G7 check and win it. So black takes check. Okay, just a beautiful theme with we're going to have checkmate in the middle of the board. Let's see. So sacrifice. So I can't capture it. Now rook takes d8. Okay, so material is now even. King, but the king finally is tracked down and checkmate. So a brilliant win by Anna Sargsyan in this game. So we'll see if Liu Miaoli has better luck in the in Vaikanze.
Exactly. Okay, Ken, thank you very much for your games that you showed. And we are looking now forward from news from Vaikanze. And
That's
we'll
right.
see you next week, same place, same time. And have a great weekend.
Thank you very much. Yep. Okay. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.